Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Okemute. I know I look different. I'm sure some of you were like, hold up, who is this? It's me. It's still me. She went bald. And yeah, if you're interested in this look that I have on, and of course knowing why I went bald, then keep on watching. So how have you guys been now? What's been going on in your lives? For me, I have interesting updates, a lot of amazing things have been going on in my life. My baby is 1 year old now. Praise the Lord. I finally have a 1 year old. It still feels so surreal that I finally have a 1 year old. Like I had this baby like how many months ago and she's 1 already. It's crazy. Anyways, before I start gisting you guys, let me quickly prime my face. I'm just going to prime my T-zones with this. So like I said, I finally have a 1 year old. It still feels so surreal that my baby is 1. Like I literally remember the day I went to the hospital. And let me just give you guys a quick backstory, right? So when I was pregnant, I had a very easy, very smooth pregnancy. I'll not even lie. I had a fun pregnancy. At the first 2 trimesters, it was amazing. I didn't have no morning sickness. I didn't throw up. I didn't do nothing. In fact, I had extra energy and I enjoyed cooking. Even though I was irritated by the smell of fresh fish or fresh meat or fresh chicken or whatever it is, but I enjoyed cooking for people. Like when I was pregnant, I was so hyped about cooking. I literally call my friends and say, oh, do you feel like eating this thing? I can cook it for you. My friend was always asking, are you not tired, Cynthia? But me, I was so hyped about cooking when I was pregnant. Like I literally wanted to try every new recipe. I wanted to try everything that I had not cooked in a while. So yeah, my pregnancy was smooth to an extent. I'll say that I was one of the lucky ones that had no morning sickness, nothing whatsoever. I didn't throw up. I didn't do nothing. I was hyped till I had a lot of energy till the end of the pregnancy. I'm going to move on to highlights with my Gleam by Melanie as usual in the shade bronze gold. So as I was saying, I was so like I had so much energy. I would call my friend and say, oh Shade, are you not craving for this thing? Shade, do you want to try this thing? Like I was literally trying every new recipe I could find. I was cooking so much when I was pregnant. And not like I was going to eat it, though. Some I did eat, but some I probably won't eat it. But I was so hyped about cooking for people. I was so hyped about trying new recipes for some strange reason. I had so much energy. So I can say my pregnancy was pretty good to me. I will not even lie. For the at least maybe the first 2 trimesters was good. Even though the last trimester, it's not like it was bad, but I was just over it at that point because I was feeling like way too heavy. I was feeling bloated. So at that point, I was over it. The third trimester for me wasn't bad, but it wasn't one of my favorites. I was going through my makeup box yesterday and I saw a couple of products that I've not used in a while and I liked at some point. So I'm going to try this one out again. It's the LA Girl foundation in the shade Chestnut. So as I was saying, fast forward to my 37th week, I was beginning to have a headache because I slept without my clothes on. And I just thought it was normal headache, right? But then I now had a cold and I started to sneeze and then I saw traces of blood in my sneeze. So I'm like, okay, maybe my nostril, my nose was too dry. That's probably why I was sneezing blood. But the headache was like like it was constant and it was just one side of my head. So I then called one of my friends and I'm like, Shadi, I'm having a headache. And she's like, how long have you been having the headache? I said, well, maybe for 2 or 3 days now and it's been constant and I just thought it was normal, but I'm beginning to see traces of blood when I sneeze because I have a cold as well. And she was like, oh, call your OBGYN then, just to be sure that everything is okay. And me, I don't like going to the hospital too much or calling the doctor too much because I feel like, oh, I'm fine. I'm one of those people. But she was like, oh, call your OBGYN just to let her know. And if it's nothing big, then she'll tell you, but just call her to let her know. So this foundation is coming off a bit red. But anyways, we'll see how this works out. So I didn't remember it being this red though. But anyways, we'll see how it works out. So she was like, oh, call your OBGYN and then tell her about it. So I did call my OBGYN and I think, did they pick up? No, they didn't pick up. So it was a voicemail and I just dropped the voicemail and said, oh, hi, I've been having a headache for 2 or 3 days now and I'm in my 36th week. I think that was 36 weeks and 6 days. So I'm like, well, I'm in my 36th week and I've been having a headache for a while now. So I just explained basically what was wrong with me, right? So I then hung up the call and I just felt, oh, maybe they'll call me back, maybe they won't call me back. It was not even up to 10 minutes. I just saw grrr, grrr, it was the doctor's office that called me back. And I'm like, hi. They said, are you Cynthia? I said, yes. They said, oh, we saw your call and your doctor said, your OBGYN says to go to the ER immediately. I'm like, ER? What's going on? ER for what? I was like, your OBGYN says to go to the ER immediately. I'm like, oh, okay. So me, I felt, oh, maybe they want to give me something for my cold, since I told them that I was bleeding from my nose as well when I sneezed. So I just called my husband, and my husband wasn't home. So I called them. I'm like, they said I should go to the doctor's office, to the ER, sorry, because I called them to tell them about my cold, and I was told to go to the ER. So I need you to come pick me up and let's go to the ER. Maybe I even now told them, I said maybe they want to give me something for my cold, because I complained about the cold that I was having. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm coming. So he came home. Long story short, he came home and we went to the ER. And in my own mind, I'm just like, oh, I'm going to go and come back now. And if I had known, I would have eaten, no, but I did not know. I felt like, oh, it's not to just go and come back. Let them just give me something for my cold and then we'll be back home. Lo and behold, my brothers and sisters, we got to the hospital. Doctor came in, right, and she was like, oh, your blood pressure is high. Did you ever have issues? Because they said to go to the ER, but the ER I went to is not where my OBGYN that I usually use works. So it was a different ER, because I went to the one closest to home, because the one my doctor works is a little bit far from my house, so I didn't even want to give birth in that hospital anyways. That one is even a long story. My OBGYN got changed. I was using a particular OBGYN before, but he stopped attending to pregnant women, so he referred us to someone else. And then where she works was just where she practices is a bit far, but I didn't mind going there for just visits. But to give birth there, I already zeroed in my mind that I wasn't going to do that, because that's just a bit far. I might not be able to make it over there. So I already decided I was going to give birth in the hospital that I went to the ER for. I hope you guys get the gist. So anyway, so the doctor then came and said, oh, have you been having issues with your BP since when you've been pregnant? I'm like, no, I've had like the smooth pregnancy so far. Now I'm going to go in with my Early Girl Concealer in the shade Chestnut. Prior to that, now that I'm remembering, a few days before that day, I noticed that one of my legs, like the day I had my photo shoot, my pregnancy shoot, because I did that myself as well, I noticed that one of my legs was like very, very, very swollen, because I'd been stressing like a day before. I think I did 5 or 6 people's makeup that day or the day before. And then that particular day anyways, my leg was swollen, like real swollen. That was before I started having a constant headache. I noticed that my leg was like real swollen. One of my legs was way bigger than the other one, but I thought maybe because I was like stressing myself too much. So I just raised my leg up and I sat down and raised my leg up and it went down. So I didn't pay no attention to that. So she said, oh, your blood pressure is high, meaning my blood pressure was high, and they had to stabilize that first before they know what next to do. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that, and that's why I've been having the headaches that I've been having. So I'm like, okay. So she was like, so we're just going to watch you for a few hours and we'll come back and let you know. This was around 5 o'clock. So I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, I'm hungry, because I was supposed to eat before I left, because one of my friends has been giving me the gist before that make sure you eat before you go into labor. If you're in labor, make sure you eat, because you never know how it will go in there, how long it will take before you can eat. So I was prepared for that, to eat before it's time for me to go into labor. If I ever was going to go into labor at some point, I was so prepared for that. So I'd not eaten, right? So I'm like, excuse me, I'm hungry, can I eat? Then they're like, no, I cannot eat for now. After all the money that they gave me, I still ended up falling into this trap. But still I was feeling, oh, we're still going to be able to go home. So I'm like, okay, I'll still be able to eat. So my husband was saying, the way I'm looking at it, they probably will not let you go home this night. I was like, why would they not let me go home? It's like, what's nonsense that you are saying? At some point after a few hours, the doctor came back and then she was like, at this point, your BP is too high and you're not going to be able to go back home. We have to induce you. I'm like, huh? You see, you have to do gleam. Say we have to induce you, and the baby has to be out as soon as possible because your BP is high and we are seeing symptoms of preeclampsia. I think that's what's called. And we're seeing symptoms of preeclampsia. I say, you are seeing what? I never had any issues with my BP. Like, my pregnancy was a smooth one from the beginning to that point. So at some point I was worried, and I'm like, okay, is the baby going to be okay? Because that was my 36th week and 6 days, I think. Yeah, It was 36. I was 36 weeks and 6 days on that particular day. So I'm like, I don't understand. If you get the baby out now, is the baby going to be okay? And she said, oh, the baby is just perfectly fine, and we just need to get her out because of your own health, but the baby is okay. I'm like, okay, so you guys need to induce me. Say yes. I'm like, okay, let's start the induction. So they did start inducing me, and here's the part: if they induce you, you are not allowed to eat till whenever it is that baby gets out. And me, remember, I had not eaten, and I had plans. I actually made food that I was going to come back to eat when I get back from the hospital. I'm like, the first thing I thought of was, wait, can I eat? She said no. I said, mote. Mote. She was like, you can't eat till whenever baby gets out. I'm like, hey, me that I'm hungry. She said, but we're going to pass you, we're going to pass some fluids into you that will give you energy. Can it come? Like, is that one like the about like the whatever it is that I have at home? And I'm like, God, why did I have to fall into this trap? After all my prayer, after all my preparation, I still end up in this trap of not eating. Why? Why me, oh Lord? I was saying all of that in my mind. And so I'm not allowed to eat. They started induction. The day went by. Funny enough, I wasn't as hungry. Maybe it was the fluids they were passing into me, but I wasn't as hungry as I thought I was going to be, because I knew I was very hungry before then. But I think when they started passing the fluids, I wasn't as hungry as I thought I was going to be. But anyways, fast forward to the induction. That went smoothly. The labor now started, my sister, in the morning of the second day. Yeah, the second morning. I didn't feel anything. They started inducing me like around 5 or 6 the evening before, and I didn't feel no pains. I slept, I woke up, and then the next morning, early in the morning, I started to feel like some kind of pains, and labor officially started basically. So I started to feel pains. At first, it was not that bad. I could handle it because I have a high tolerance for pain. So it wasn't that. I'm going back in with my LA Girl concealer. This one is in fawn. I'm just using it to brighten just the under eye area. So the next, what was I saying? So I started to feel the pains. Everything just had to be a rush actually from that night, because my husband had to go do laundry. He was going to do laundry before. He had to go do laundry that morning. He had to just get things ready, since they said the baby was going to be here in like maybe that day or the next day. So he had to go do laundry and do stuff. So I was the only one left in the hospital, and labor started. So labor, my sisters and brothers, it's sweet, it's like sugar. Because hey, I have a high tolerance for pain, right? But I can say, I don't know, labor wasn't that bad. Was it bad? Yes, but not too bad. I expected like the worst. I would not even like expected the worst from labor. Like I expected I would see heaven and earth. I don't know. I don't know what my expectations were, but it was I expected something extremely painful. Was it painful? Yes, it was painful. But maybe because of my own tolerance for pain, I'll not say it was extremely painful. It was painful. It had high and low moments. There's sometimes when it's painful, and there's sometimes when it's just painful. So that was my own experience, though I don't know about any other person. Every other person or every other woman that you ask might have like a different opinion, because everybody's body is different, everybody's baby is different, and everybody's tolerance for pain as well is different. But for me, the labor was painful, but it was, and they say when they induce you, you feel double of the pain you're supposed to feel normally if you're just in labor without being induced. So I was feeling it double, right? And I can say it wasn't too painful till I got to 5 centimeters, because you have to get to like 9 centimeters dilated before baby comes out, right? So it started getting really painful when I entered, I think the 4th or the 5th centimeter, one of the two. At that point, I was just over it, because I hate laying in one place and not doing anything, and I was hungry as well. That was the next morning, and I still could not eat even the next morning, so I was just over it. So I called the nurse to come check, how dilated I was, and then she came and she said, you're in your 5th centimeter, you're doing well, mama. They were encouraged and all of that. I'm like, okay. So before Auntie Nurse week turn and come back, I now felt like I wanted to poo. I'm like, excuse me. I just felt like like something was pushing hard down there. Meanwhile, she just turned her back and said I was in my 5th centimeter. So I felt like something was pushing hard down there, like I really wanted to poo. So I called her back. I said, please, can you check down there. I feel like I want to poo. And something is pushing her down there. She said, oh no, that you're in your 5th centimeter, it's just your body being ready. I'm like, auntie, at this point, I don't think it's my body being ready. I think something is about to come out. Please check. So she said, so she turned back and then she checked, and I just saw the shock, like the huge shock written all over this lady's face. I just saw the shock. And she was like, oh my God, you're in your 9th centimeter. I just checked right now, you're in your 5th centimeter. I said, you're in your 9 gonna. And at this point, my husband was not there because I wanted to make sure my husband was right there with me in the labor room, and he was not there. He just left to go do laundry because she said I was in my 5th centimeter. He called me and I'm like, oh, we still have time. We still have 4 centimeters to go. They say I'm in my 5th centimeter, right? So I assured him that there was time. And then this auntie is now telling me that from 5 centimeter I skyrocketed into 9 centimeters. I'm like, eh? It's about to go down. Oh. And I like being in control. So at that point, I didn't know what was going on. I just sat there, just called my husband. I'm like, the baby is coming. Like, how my husband got there in 10 minutes, I don't know. It was like 20 to 25 minutes away, but magically, he came in like 5 to 10 minutes. How he got there, I don't know. How he drove there, I don't know. But he rushed into the delivery room. I don't know, maybe it's because all the products that I'm using so far is from Ellie Girl. The blend looks insane. Like the blend of this foundation and this concealer together, it looks so good. I don't know, maybe because I'm using the same products, but I think I'm falling in love with Ellie Girl all over again. Like the blend looks so good. So what was I saying? How my husband busted through the doors in like 5-10 minutes, I cannot explain, but my guy was there in like 5 to 10 minutes. And long story short, baby came, hello, hey, glory to God. Everything was over. And I'll say pushing the baby is the easiest part. At least it was the easiest part for me. I would pick pushing a baby out over labor, of course, because you just have to, when the baby's ready, push. When the baby's ready, push. When you start to feel like you're ready to push, push. So I'd pick pushing the baby out. Pushing the baby out, the baby came out in like 2 or 3 pushes, and that was it. So I'd really pick pushing the baby out over labor. Like, but most of the time when I see in movies, it's pushing the baby out that always seem like the hardest. Like they make it seem like pushing the baby out was the hardest. I don't know, maybe it's hard for some people, but I don't know. I just feel like pushing the baby was the easiest part, and labor is the one that is the painful part. Pushing the baby is not as hard or as difficult as the labor part for me. I'm just saying it from my own experience, because I don't want nobody to say, oh, it's because you had it easy or anything. But I'm just saying from my own experience. Pushing the baby out was like the easiest. It was just when you feel the sensation like you're ready to push, you push, and that was it. But the painful part was the labor. The painful and stressful part was the labor pain. So yeah, I'm trying out a new routine today because I feel like I'm too comfortable with my old routine. So I'm trying to find new stuff that I probably will like, and I'm going in with my Maybelline Superstay powder, and this one is in the shade Coconut. So I'm just going to set the under eye area, or basically set the places that are highlighted with this. So I'm using the same beauty sponge that I used to blend it out, but I'm using the other side, and I'm just slightly pressing this into my skin. Now I'm going to move on to bronze with my Black Radiance contour palette. I'm going to be using this dark shade, this dark shade right here. So that was how baby was here and ready to conquer the world. And we moved to the taking care of baby stage. But boy, when I tell you that taking care of babies is not as easy as it looks, trust me, it's not easy at all. I don't know, I was confident that I was going to know what I was going to find my way around it, because I didn't have no help besides my husband, my mother-in-law, my mom. Nobody was here. It was just me and him, and of course it's our first baby together. And I don't know, I just felt confident that, you know, I've been there when my cousin was born, when this person was born, I've been there, so I should be able to have a hang of it. My darlings, it's a whole different ball game when the baby belongs to you. You taking care of babysitting other people's kids is definitely not the same with you being the one to take care of a baby 24/7, you being the one to figure out what is wrong with your baby, when your baby needs to eat, when your baby needs to sleep. When all that happens, it's just a different ball game. But I thank God it's been a whole 1 year, and I finally feel confident that I know what it is that I'm doing, because I know at the beginning stages, at some point I always felt confused, like, what am I even doing? Am I even doing the right thing? At some point it got overwhelming, and I felt like, do I really know what I'm doing? Because I felt like I wasn't doing the right thing, or I don't know. At some point I was just overwhelmed. by the whole thing. And I did see why some people tend to slide into postpartum depression, because trust me, it's not easy taking care of a baby. It's not easy. You are in the healing process and then you still have to take care of someone else that depends on you. It's not easy, most especially when you do not have like help from like elderly people that already experienced with babies. Is not easy at all. But we thank God it's been a whole year and we're finally figuring it out. Time runs by so fast with babies. Pregnancy is always the longest. Pregnancy feels like you've been pregnant for 1 year or 2 years and it's never ending. But when the babies come out, like, they just go fast. And before you know it, you're celebrating their first birthday. And you're like, okay, you were just like 1 month, 2 days ago. What's going on? Why are you here already? So it's crazy. Trust me, it's crazy, but it's worth every of the stress. The journey is worth it. I've not changed anything about everything that has happened. Every mother out there, maybe you're a new mom and you're a first time mom and you're still there wondering how you're going to get through it, or you're going to get through the night, or it's been crazy and sometimes you feel like you don't even know what you're doing. Trust me, I've been there. I'm still there right now. I'm still going through it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, what's going on with this child? What am I not getting? Let me know. What do you need? It happens to every single one of us. It happens. Sometimes you get frustrated by your kids. You're not the only one. You're not a bad mom. That doesn't make you a bad mom. But sometimes these kids can get on your last nerve. They can frustrate you sometimes. And then you begin to wonder, what was I thinking in the first place? Like, what exactly do you want this child? Do not kill me. Especially for first time moms, you can get confused. But if you have friends, if you have family members or people you're close to that have had a baby before, trust me, reach out to them. That was one of the things that helped me. I always talk about my sister, my mom, my friends, and I'm thankful for every single person that was there for me that I could reach out to. Maybe when I needed like pointers or some things, or maybe when I didn't know something and I needed someone to like tell me what to do. I'm so thankful for every single one of them that I could reach out to and that they were there for me. So that's one thing I'm going to advise you to do. If you're a new mom or you're a first time mom and you don't, sometimes you just feel lost and you don't know what to do, reach out to those that are close to you or those that offer to help you. Reach out to them, speak to them. Sometimes when you're having like issues or things that you're not clear about, speak to them and hear their thoughts and their opinions about it. And as much as I'm going to say that as well, do not let people impose their beliefs or how they think that you should raise your child on you. And I'm not saying you should not take advice when necessary, but just find a pattern and a routine that works for you and your kid. And don't be so bothered with what everybody has to say, because everybody always has something to say. Whatever routine, whatever pattern works for the both of you, find it and stick to it. I'm not saying do not take advice when necessary, but just know the advice that you're taking. Pick from everybody's advice and pick the one that works for you and work your way from there, and you're going to be just fine. Now I'm going to go in with my Sacha buttercup setting powder, and I'm just going to set under my eyes because strangely your girl has been enjoying baking lately. I tried it with my soft glam and since then I've been baking under my eyes because I've been enjoying it. So for the moment, we're gonna bake with just a tiny weenie or maybe a lot of powder. Finally, your girl stopped breastfeeding. Hallelujah! After 11 months. And trust me, I enjoyed breastfeeding actually. I know some people complain about breastfeeding, but I think breastfeeding was one part that I did enjoy. Like, I enjoyed breastfeeding, but at some point your girl was over it because I cannot come and kill myself. Especially when they start to have teeth, they start to bite you down there. And you can imagine teeth down there. Do you know how painful that is? You can imagine. So I was over it at 11 months and I finally stopped. Praise the Lord. But what they did not tell me, which I don't know why nobody told me, is how painful it is to stop breastfeeding. My God. So my sister said it didn't happen to her though. When she stopped breastfeeding, she didn't feel no pains. But me, one of the babies was like ice block. Ice block. It was so painful. Like, apparently, it happens to we that we have a lot of milk supply. And that is why when we stop, we have like huge swollen babies. Like, it was so painful. I was this close to saying, you know what, at this point I don't think I'm ready to stop, because I was in pains. I was in severe pains for 2 to 3 days. It was crazy. I don't know why nobody didn't tell me about that, but baby, let me just tell you, it is a harsh reality. If you have a lot of milk supply right now, you are a mom, just be ready for that part, that when you're ready to stop, it is going to be painful. Maybe there are things I could have done to make it less painful. I don't know, but I didn't try anything. But after 2 to 3 days, actually, the pain stopped. But the pain for the first 2 to 3 days was crazy. I could have used Tylenol because my mom said use Tylenol, my friend said use Tylenol, but Okemute doesn't listen because she doesn't like drugs. So I didn't do any of that. But apparently you can use Tylenol or yeah, and I used one thing that worked for me was using warm water to press down there. So if you're a mom and you're about to stop breastfeeding and you have huge mix up, like my darling, use Tylenol if you want, or you can just use warm water to just massage that area. I'm done with my brows. I don't understand what's going on with it today, but we're just going to leave it like this. And my skin is still doing nonsense even after 1 year, and my skin is not back to normal. Postpartum too is a different topic on its own. Like nobody tells you like the changes your whole body, your whole system goes through, or maybe they tell you and I'm the one that do not pay attention. Can you guys see all over my forehead? Some days are good, some days I don't have no active breakout whatsoever. Some days they will just come like, hello, where did you think you were going? Who was deceiving you that we're gone? We're right here, baby. This is us. You see them ugly girls all over. But I've just said it, I'm not going to let it bother me anymore. I'm going to be using this palette from Juvia's Place, and I'm going to use this brown shade in there first. Seeing my daughter and seeing how much she has grown makes me so happy, and makes me realize that you can do anything that you set your mind to do. At first it might be hard, you might wonder how you will go through it, but trust me, you would scale through it. And it doesn't even have to be, it doesn't really have to be about having children alone. It could be about anything. You could start a job and you could be wondering, how are you going to scale through this job? Like, I literally know nothing about this job that I'm getting myself into, or this is a new experience for me. I'm not sure how it's going to go. And a year down the line, you look back at the beginning and you're like, okay, why was I so worried? Or see how far I've come, basically. Like, look at how far I've come. I feel like I'm more confident now when it comes to taking care of my daughter. Although, if I sniff, if I just hear the sound of, and so when are you going to have another baby now? You see? You see what? What? You, what? And like the thought of a second baby right now. I don't even want to smell it. I don't want to smell it. I don't want to hear it. Second what? On a serious note though, down the line, will I have another baby? Of course, I'll definitely have another baby. But for now, sis is chilling. Sis is taking a break. Sis is having me time, okay? I am sis is me. I'm going to go in with this same powder that I used to set my under eyes, and I'm going to use that to just blend the edges of the brown. Yeah, I forgot to mention to you guys that your sis, your girl went bald. Now I'm a baldie, and I'm probably going to show you guys at the end of this video, so you might want to stick around to see if I'm going to show you or not, and I think we're going to show you guys today that we are bald. I'm a baldie now, guys. Like, my hair was falling off when I had my baby. Since I had my baby, like the back of my hair, the front was growing long, my edges were nowhere to be found, and then the back was coming off as well. I just made a decision to start afresh and just shave everything off. I'm just going to go in with this one right here. I'm going to go in with my powder from Loreal, and I'm just going to use that to blend everything together. So I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter. I'm just going to apply a little bit of this on my cheekbones. I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. palette, and I'm just going to be using, I'm going to be using this shade right here. Lashes are on, and these lashes are so dramatic. They're from Lina Lashes, and I really hope I don't take it out. I like the look that it's giving. It's extra. And yeah, anyways, they're from Lina Lashes on Instagram. I'll leave the link in the description box. I'm going to be using my ABH brow pomade for my liner. just because I do not have the kind of lipstick that I want to use today, so I want to create my own lipstick with a concealer. I'm going to be using my LA Girl concealer in Chestnut, and I'm probably going to add Fawn in the middle as well. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for the big reveal? You ready? It's a bounty, babies. It's a bounty. She's a bounty now, guys. Yes. Mama became a bounty. This is the lowest I've ever gone. Like, I'm not a newbie to cutting my hair. If you know me well, or if you've been following me for a while, you know that almost every year I always cut my hair. Before I finally decided to go natural, I used to cut my hair like almost every year. I've done every style. I've colored my hair every color you can think, but I've never ever gone this low ever. Like, this one was so hard for me to decide to finally cut it. I look so different. This is the first time I'm actually wearing makeup since I cut my hair, like wearing a full face makeup, and I don't know, I'm not mad at it. I think it looks good. It's a change. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you guys think? Don't forget to like this video, of course, share with your friends, share with your family, subscribe to my channel as well. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.